Hey Nakama, this is Gomu Gomu, it's me. My name is Alden, and today we're going to be reviewing episode 1085, The Last Curtain, Luffy and Momonosuke's Vow. Let's get into this. So, we start off the scene, right? We start off the episode. We got some music playing and we get a backdrop of the flower capital, right? People enjoying life at restaurants, taking boat rides. People look like they're happy to be like under a new regime, I guess. I mean, everybody knows that it is technically a new regime, but I don't think whatever, right? But over everything happening, you start to hear like a somber type poem, kind of like a song poem thing, right? And the poem is kind of retelling the events of Onigashima, right? And they've already turned the events into a story play kind of thing. We like see masks being sold of various characters, and we see kids cosplaying their favorites with wigs, outfits. It's kind of a far cry from the bloodshed that happened merely days ago. I mean, how far are we gonna stretch how long it's been? Like maybe two. Like I don't know, because time is very weird in One Piece. Like there was a 2 year time skip, and now everything like is still within like recent. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, Onigashima's raid was only a day, so I don't know. But we find out. Well, not we find out, but we see that it's not really a play. It's like a modern day IRL podcast where people are on the edge of their seats, right? They're all waiting and listening in anticipation of what's going to happen next, even though some people have already heard the story, right? So it's like people coming to see their favorite podcast or whatever, like do an IRL stream, right? So Momo, we, cut. Obviously, I always got to say that, though. We cut to Momo. He's running. He's trying to catch Luffy. It's revealed casually that Yamato is staying in Wano and has already told the Straw Hats. So that's kind of like weird that Yamato would just casually say that. But Keen and Momo are very grateful for that because they know Yamato is a very powerful ally to have. So having Yamato around is going to be very beneficial for everybody, right? So Momo rages through, and he's raging that Luffy's leaving without saying goodbye. Me and him have been together for the longest, like shit like that, right? Then we get a flashback to 20 years earlier when Kaido had Momo up by the neck, right? Then we see Luffy and Momo meeting, and then Luffy dropping life lessons on Momo. And then Momo needing Luffy, and then Momo standing up to Kaido while tied up, while he was beaten up and stuff. And then Momo saving Onigashima and Luffy defeating Kaido, right? Meanwhile, real quick, I'm thinking, why doesn't he just fly? Like, he's stomping through the forest, but I'm like, why don't you can fly now? And Kinemon asks him the same thing and replies, shut up, to which Kin says, sorry, sir, you're right. So Kin also says since Momo is the shogun of Wano, however Luffy responds when they meet will mean if they have to cut him down or not, right? To which Momo says, yeah, that's the way of the samurai, which I understand, the machismo thing, like, oh yeah, we're going to cut him. Let's cut it out. You're not cutting down anybody, but whatever. So we see the port. Kid and Law have already, or not already, but they're setting sail with the macho bravado. Yeah, when we meet again, we'll be enemies, so don't complain, even if you don't. Blah, 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 blah. It's honestly, they're both going to be kind of in the realm of, Roger was with Whitebeard. Like, they were rivals, but they weren't enemies. Like, I think that's more so for Law and Luffy than it is Kid. Because I think Kid is like really trying to take over, as you would know from the manga and hearing things about him. But, whatever. They're enemies now. Ooh, Chopper even tries to say bye to Law. He goes, shut up. It was pretty funny. So Momo finally catches up to Luffy and bursts through the forest, catching up to Luffy. And, he's in his dragon form, but then he, devolves and he turns into Momo, jumping on Luffy, basically hugging him, asking why he's leaving without saying goodbye to them, right? So Momo tries to act real bossed up, which you've been around these people for weeks, months, whatever the case may be. They know who you are. They know you're still an 8-year-old boy, right? So he tries to act bossed up, but bursts out crying, saying, don't go, I'm sad now, right? And remembering that Momo is still 8 years old is what makes this scene not weird, but instead sad. Like, you see, like, this 8-year-old boy. He probably looks up to Luffy, because he sees how strong Luffy is, how Luffy carries himself, and things like that. And, obviously all the other Straw Hats as well. But, like, it's just sad that he feels like Luffy is leaving him rather than just continuing his journey, But he has to understand that that's how life works. Sometimes people leave to go on their own paths. That doesn't mean they're leaving you, but it is what it is. But I mean, also us, for us as viewers, how long have we spent on Wano? What has it been? It's been the better part of what, 4 years, three, four, whatever the case may be. I mean, it's a big part of all of our lives now. I mean, 4 years ago, you're probably not the same person you are. I know I'm not. So the time lapse of what's happened in our lives, let alone the time that's happened in Wano. It's and everything before Wano. Momo's sad, and probably some people are sad Wano's ending. Which, I mean, I'm glad the story's progressing, but yeah, Wano was good to us, I'll say. Momo says that they're the reason that they could get rid of Kaido and avenge his parents, and he's scared of what's to come. Obviously, I mean, again, preface this with an 8-year-old boy, right? So Luffy calls out to Usopp. He goes, "Hey, Usopp, send me that, And then we find out why Usopp needed all the fabric and why the salesman was so eager to help him. Luffy says that he thinks of Momo as a little brother. He says, I don't want you to think anything crazy. I look at you as a little brother, right? And we come to find out that they made Momo a Straw Hat, Jolly Roger, to fly over Wano. He says, if anybody ever comes messing with you, show them that. And, they know what's up. Because if you mess with my friends, you mess with us, right? Stuff like that, right? So Momo's still crying. Luffy says, if any of them want to become Straw Hats, he'll pick them up anytime, but no wimps allowed. Basically meaning Momonosuke. Not gonna lie, the sunny set sail a bit before I thought it would. So good job to the, animators, the storytellers, and everything. But there's things in this episode that kind of prevent it from moving the story forward. But we'll get into that. So they say their goodbyes, and Momo as Shogun bows in appreciation for the Straw Hats, right? So Momo vows to surpass his father one day, and Yamato chimes in, surpass me, right? So the Straw Hats are plotting a course, and Kid and Law show up alongside them. And now Kid is goading Law and Luffy, saying, using the official port, that's what regular pirates like you would do, right? So Luffy takes the bait, so does Law, and they go after Kid, right? So instead of going down the nice little, and I'm sure you guys remember it when the numbers were coming, they had that little mechanical thing that was sending the ships up and down. So instead of going with that, these crazy MFers are going to go back down the big ass waterfall they had to climb up. Stupid, right? So as expected, they fall down the waterfall, and then we cut back to the podcast. Retelling the story, I think Barto might have a little bit of problem with someone doing a recap with Luffy involved, right? If it was just Wano people, he would be like, I don't care, forget them. So we get a recap, and Orochi said the curse of the Kurozumi will haunt the land of Wano for generations. Hiyori said to Orochi in his final moments while burning, black charcoal wouldn't be called Kurozumi if it wasn't burned. Bam! That's a cold woman right there. But anyways, we see shots, we cut back to, present. We see shots of Hiyori and Toko. Momo gets back to the capital and looks for where to fly his new flag. We get the end for Wano. Magic. There was some really high points. I'm not gonna say really low points, but mid to a little bit below. But yeah, this whole thing has been great. I can't wait for the next arc. I already know it because I'm one of the manga readers. But yeah, it was a pretty good episode. Next episode, by the way, has a lot to unpack. But key points are buggy, new bounties, and a lot of fun. So I'll see you then. But anyways, be safe and well. I didn't do my review, actually. So, this episode, I'd probably give it we saw the Jolly Roger, which was fun to see. I wish, the episode would be ranked better if we saw where he put it. Where he was going to place it, to fly. So, that would be a little bit better. I like the little retelling, in the background and stuff. So, that was fun. I'd probably give it a 7.5, 8 maybe. There wasn't anything too crazy. The Jolly Roger being flown, that would have, bumped it up. But it was a pretty decent episode. I'm so excited for the next episode. I think that's going to be so much fun. Buggy's back. We see Crocodile Mihawk. I saw Usopp and Chopper. Now, I don't know if everybody else is going to see their new bounties, but I saw them too, so I'm excited about that. But, there we go. Now, be safe and well in your travels. Oh, yeah. Please like, share, and subscribe. Can't forget that. Be safe and well in your travels. Enjoy the journey. And just know, I will be the king of YouTube. Peace.